So let's talk about the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The new iPhones are fairly similar to the iPhone 12 series. So if you look at the iPhone 12 Pro and then you look at the iPhone 13 Pro, visually you'll not see a lot of difference. But once you start to look closer, things are a lot different than they seem. But are they different enough to warrant an upgrade? Let's quickly have a first look at the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max and see what all has changed in these devices. The one thing that has changed is how much more money you can pay for these devices. So the iPhone 13 Pro starts at 1,19,900 rupees for the 128GB variant. And if you want the Pro Max, you can get it for 1,29,900 for the same 128GB variant. But now you can get a 1TB variant, which if you decide to get the 1TB iPhone 13 Pro Max, that'll cost you 1,80,000 rupees, which is absolutely insane. Now coming back to the design, visually, like I mentioned, if you look at these phones from a distance, you will not notice a lot of difference. But once you come up close, you'll start to see little differences here and there. Now one of those is the new Sierra Blue color. Now personally I prefer the Pacific Blue, which was available on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, as you can see over here, but I'm sure there are a lot of you who like the new Sierra Blue color. So let me know in the comment section below which one you prefer more, the Pacific Blue or the Sierra Blue. Continuing with the design, you'll notice the smaller notch. Now this is across all the new 13 series devices. So whether you get the iPhone 13 mini or the iPhone 13 Pro Max, you'll see that there is a smaller notch in all of these devices compared to last year's models, and according to Apple this is about 20%, but you can see a big difference when you stack them together. Another big difference that you'll notice from the outside, especially if you look closely, is the big size of the new camera lenses. These are considerably larger camera lenses compared to last year around, and the entire portion that houses the cameras is also much bigger, so you'll not be using last year's cases if you were deciding to do that. So like I said, not a lot has changed when it comes to design and look. And honestly, if Apple was still continuing with the S nomenclature, these would have been the 12S Pro and the 12S Pro Max. One of the main areas that we've seen a massive upgrade is the displays. While the size and the resolution of the displays is the same. So on the iPhone 13 Pro, you get a 6.1-inch display with a 2532 by 1170 pixel resolution with 460 pixels per inch. The iPhone 13 Pro Max gets a 6.7-inch display with 2778 by 1284 pixel resolution, giving you 458 pixels per inch. Both of these are Super Retina XDR displays. They are OLED panels, but this time around you do get more brightness, 1000 nits in typical brightness, which is up from 800 nits last year. And you also get ProMotion, the same ProMotion that you get on iPad Pros. So you do get a 120 Hertz display. And this display is an adaptive display, so it can go all the way down to just 10 Hertz. And depending on what kind of content you're watching, it'll adjust the screen accordingly. So if you're scrolling, while you're scrolling, you'll get 120 Hertz, but as your scrolling comes to an end, it'll slow down to 10 Hertz when you completely stop. And if you're watching cinema content, you can go down to 24 Hertz. Now, this is not something that you control. This is controlled directly by the device. And if you go into the display settings, you don't have any control over this. It is completely done by the phone itself, and it'll automatically adjust depending on what content you're watching. And it can go all the way from 10 Hertz to 120 Hertz, which is excellent for battery life and excellent for user experience. You do start to notice a massive difference compared to last year's phones, and especially when you're jumping between apps or just scrolling through web pages, you will see the improved refresh rate come through, and it looks amazing. Late to the game, but it's here nonetheless. Another thing that has changed is on the inside. So you get the A15 Bionic chip. This has a 6-core CPU and a 5-core GPU compared to the non-Pro variants, and you have the same 16-core neural engine. So you do see a big difference with respect to GPU performance, especially on benchmarks, and this will also come in handy for the ProRes video capability that will come later this year. I'll talk about that when we get to the cameras in a little bit, but you will also see a massive improvement with respect to things like video editing and gaming and anything that you might want to do on your phone, which is graphics intensive. You will find that the Pro devices devices will be better for that. In comparison to last year's phones, also you'll see a massive upgrade with respect to CPU performance and GPU performance. Okay, let's move on to the cameras, which is the next big thing. So you do get the same three cameras, 12 megapixel cameras, one telephoto, one wide, and one ultra wide. The telephoto has an f2.8 aperture, the wide has an f1.5 aperture, which is the main camera. f1.5 is impressive, especially for low light, and the ultra wide also has an f1.8 aperture, which is great because a lot of people are taking ultra wide shots, and those can look much better in low light environments with the f1.8. Now you do have a 6x optical zoom range, which is great because you get a 2x zoom out and a 3x zoom in, and you also can get night portraits thanks to the LiDAR sensor, which is also on the 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max. Now you do get cinematic mode. I talked about this in the iPhone 13 videos as well. It allows you to switch between subjects. Now the phone can do this automatically, or you can do this manually, and you can also adjust your settings in post as well. So if you've shot a shot and you want to then change the shift from focus to defocus, it's called rack focusing. You can do that in post by simply editing on the iPhone itself. You can shoot 4K 60 FPS in Dolby Vision, and ProRes video recording will be available with 4K 30 FPS. Now this is great for videographers, especially somebody who does shoot raw video and likes to color correct in post will really enjoy this. This works really well on Final Cut and is a widely accepted cinema format, so it'll come in handy for a lot of people. It is not available on the 128GB variant simply because ProRes file sizes are massive and they'll consume a lot of space if you start shooting ProRes video. Now the extra graphics score will also come in handy for that ProRes video, and it'll be really useful in not only shooting but compressing and storing in the ProRes video format. Now the same video recording capabilities are available on the front camera as well. So you get a 12 megapixel f2.2 camera, you get 4K video at 60 FPS, you still get cinematic mode on the front camera as well. You can shoot in Dolby Vision, and you will be able to do ProRes from the front camera as well, which is absolutely impressive. And while the size of the notch has reduced, the capabilities of everything, including Face ID, remain exactly the same. So no change there except for simply the size of the electronics. Another thing that was added is the macro camera. So if you're taking a photograph and you sort of move your camera closer than usual, the phone automatically switches to a macro camera, and you can see that you can get really up close to your subject and get 12 megapixel macro shots. You can also use this as a magnifying glass, and it works great for that as well. So if you want to read some small text, you can do that with this device. Another big change is the larger battery. So if you look at the iPhone 12 Pro, it had a 2815 mAh battery, whereas the 13 Pro has a 3125 mAh battery. If you look at the iPhone 12 Pro Max, it had a 3687 mAh battery, whereas if you look at the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it has a 4373 mAh battery. So the sheer size of the batteries is much larger, and also the A15 Bionic chip is supposedly more energy efficient, and the fact that you now have an adaptive display. So for most of the times, the display will be at 10 Hertz when you're reading something static. That will reduce power consumption considerably. So Apple claims that there is longer battery life. We'll be testing that in the coming days. So if you think the changes are enough to warrant an upgrade from the 12 Pro series to the 13 Pro series, let us know what you think is the biggest change in the iPhone 13 series. And also, if you don't think the changes are enough to warrant an upgrade, let us know that in the comment section below as well. If you like this video, guys, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and make sure to hit the subscribe button along with the bell notification icon to get notified when the next videos go up. This has been Bharat. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.